Film er først og fremst å se. Hvis man sier at litteratur er handling gjennom tanker ført ned på papiret som ord, og at teater er handling gjennom dialog, gjennom det folk sier til hverandre, så er film handling gjennom bilder satt i et visst system etter hverandre. Når man har et manuskript klart til å lage en film, så er det 3 viktige hovedelementer som har med filmopptakene å gjøre. Og det ene er kamera, øye, altså verktøyet, regissørens fremste verktøy. Kamera, hva man kan gjøre med kamera, bildene man lager med det, bevegelsene man lager med det. Man har det miljøet man skaper foran kamera, scenografien, der hvor handlingen foregår. Og man har menneskene, altså skuespillerne, som lever i dette miljøet foran kamera. Det er de 3 viktigste hovedelementene når man filmer en scene i et filmmanuskript. Etter å ha jobbet i Norge i noen år som filmmaker, så dro jeg til USA, til Hollywood, for å snakke med noen av de filmmakerne som kanskje vet mest om dette å lage film, dette å påvirke og snakke til et stort publikum, og ta i bruk disse virkemidlene, dette språket som vi kaller for film.
There is unique quality in telling the story through images, and it's cinema and television as well. I mean, image, moving image, and that's only one language that has this possibility, because you digest the image, you give a real image. Another thing, how this image is perceived, because one image can be expression of something completely different. You see, if we can put the camera in that hole there, someone in a lobby, and they will be just seeing part of this window and my conversation with you. And it can be much more interesting to see my close-up talking about the same thing. And it will be totally different connotation. In that sense, manipulation with images has only one way to do it. It's cinema and television. But still, I will stick to the idea that the main thing is to convey the emotion. And it's the most difficult thing. Music is transportation of energy. Emotions through energy. Cinema is the same thing. It's conveying the emotion through image. And it's not necessary to show a crying person to make people cry. Sometimes people are crying on the screen and people are going to laugh. So it's a question of what was before this close-up and goes after this close-up. So it's like a foreplay.
I like to play with rhythm. I like to dance. So I use my films breathe here and they breathe out there, and then they sigh, they pause, they laugh, they cry. And at the same time, I use language like a moving camera. I think you've seen a lot of it in my movies. You've seen 8mm, you've seen black and white, you've seen color, you've seen crane shots, huge crane shots. You've seen standard shots, tripod shots, mediums, closes, longs, long lenses. And each of these things evokes a different feeling when you use it. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's my little palette. I play with it, and I say I feel like doing a moving shot here, and I want to move left to right, or I want to move towards the participants or away from. And each time it's a statement of an inner feeling that I have at that point towards the story. Sometimes if you shoot something that's very dramatic in a conventional fashion, you walk away, maybe you do a take or a rehearsal, and you say, There's something boring about this, and I can't. Well, why is it boring? This should not be boring, because this is inherently a dramatic moment in life. Are the actors boring? Well, that's the first question you should ask, and then, as a director, you try to fix what the actors do, you know. And let's say you do, and let's say you make them improvements, but it's still boring. So then you must address yourself with the next question: is there's something wrong with this camera at this position, the way it's photographing this event?
Prosessen fra manuskript til film går via det som kalles for dreiebok. Dreiebok er en slags visualisering, altså et forsøk på å se filmen før den er laget. Man leter etter opptakssteder, man bestemmer hvordan kamera skal forholde seg til handlingen, bevegelser, utsnitt, altså hvordan teknikken skal behandle scenen. Med andre ord, hvordan regissøren ønsker å tolke scenen, hvordan han eller hun ser scenen utspille seg. På denne måten så forteller filmskapere noe om sin holdning til stoffet. Dette er tolkning. Og dette er en veldig sentral og viktig del av arbeidsprosessen før man går i gang og faktisk filmer scenen, før den kommer på lerretet i en ferdig film.
Det der blir tungt å bære.
Jeg fikk ikke sove. Nettene er så lyse. Hva gjør de åpne?
Jeg går nå våren inn. Men presten sover godt. Se her. Denne skal de ha.
Takk. Takk skal de ha.
My choices often lead me to things that are on the surface not so simple to get at. And I design them by writing a list of every element that is contained in this story that you can visualize and what it means. There are lots of examples, but the best, simplest example would be take Chinatown, which they're doing. I'm going to be interviewed for the anniversary by this guy, this editor at Premiere. You have a drought, and so you know there are not going to be any clouds in the sky. It's 1930 in California, and you want all the buildings to be white because it's hotter. You want them all to be generic, which means they're all going to be Spanish. They all should be above the eye level of the man who's investigating, because it's harder to go uphill than it is downhill. You're going to pick a series of colors to represent drought, from burnt grass to umber, and you're going to use a lot of white, and then you're going to do more and more and more of that kind of thinking until even the kind of glass in the doors in an office, semi-obscure glass, looks like water. And there's not going to be any grass in the picture except where you know people have water.
Well, there's two kinds of space. There's architectural space, which is a space that you use to produce certain emotions. Give you the simplest example, but it works. Is a long, narrow corridor produces anxiety. A room with no windows is like a head with no eyes. I mean, it does, you have a certain response. Where you enter and exit in a room is always an interesting thought. The fact, if you can set up a room or even an exterior shot in which symmetry is used. Symmetry is very important. If you think of Palladian architecture, symmetry comes at a time when stability is the issue. In other words, everything is all right. And even the Greeks did it very, very well. You can use symmetry in a movie. You can do a shot that looks like everything is fine, with the express purpose of making sure that when you walk inside, everything isn't fine. In other words, you set up this calmness, this stability, this everything is okay, and then you rattle the thing afterwards, which is what you want to do to the audience.
Well, I think emotionally, aesthetically, a location can be all important. For instance, I think when in Fiddler on the Roof, when Tevye has a conversation with God and he is talking to two people in front of him, his daughter and prospective son-in-law, how do you remove him from them, because he can't very well have a conversation with God that you can hear if they can't hear it. So you are caught up in the reality of the problem logistically. By taking them outside and by putting them by a field of ripening wheat, which gave the feeling of the Ukraine and Russia, and then by jumping him physically 100 yards away from them, you move into an area of fantasy. It's not real. Why isn't it real? It's not real because he is having a personal conversation and he is removed from them physically. And by doing that and shooting it very wide to show the relationship between them, and they were all very small now, figures on the screen, and then by going into his close-up, you could now give him his private moment, much like you would in the theater. In the theater, it's very simple. All you do is turn out all the lights and leave him in a spot, and these people freeze, and the audience knows right away that they are not hearing what he is.
Outside space, scale, is very important in what I call the emotional response you have to the human size of something and how you feel about it. The great, vast, mythological landscape of the West is what Ford discovered was so important to him. He shot pictures, 6 of them, in the same place, no matter what the story was. The Searchers is a book written in Texas. Forget Texas. We're going back to this mythological frontier, this great landscape of the West, and the scale that he could get of the size of men against mountains makes those pictures what they are. Cities are the other domain. Cities belong to gangsters.
you're making a film about people, of course, then the actors are terribly important. But how you tell the story, the way in which you visualize it is certainly equally important. Do you see the actor? What's the spatial relationship between the actors? What's the relationship between the actors and where they are? Are they small figures in a big environment? Are they big figures in a small environment? Do you see them from angles which make them look large and strong? Do you see them from angles which make them look small? Do you X-ray their soul in a way? I mean, do you come super close? Do you call attention to the body language? I mean, there's all kind of things that affect this. But it starts, if you're doing people stories, with who the people are and what it is they're doing. And then I think then you find a way of seeing that, of revealing it.
Skuespillerens viktigste oppgave på film å være troverdig. Med andre ord også god. Men troverdig utifra filmkriterier. Filmkamera ekstremt nærgående. Filmkamera ser alt. Og blåst opp på en duk på kino, så ser man absolutt alt. Ofte det nok å bare tenke et uttrykk, I stedet for som man gjør på teatret, å spille uttrykket ut. Less is more, eller no acting please. Altså, filmskuespilleri skal man si, en helt annen toneart enn teaterskuespilleri. Det hva gjelder selve spillestilen. En annen dimensjon som veldig viktig for å forstå filmskuespilleren, og for at filmskuespilleren skal kunne forstå seg selv I dette nye mediet, som det ofte for skuespillere, at det ikke kun skuespilleren og dialogen og replikken og det som skjer mellom menneskene som forteller historien. Det veldig ofte I stor grad kamera og ting vi ser, kamerats evne til å gå inn I hodet på skuespilleren I form av point of view, altså se det skuespilleren ser. Publikum har tilgang på en masse informasjoner utenom skuespilleren som forteller oss om hva skuespilleren gjør, hva skuespilleren tenker og hva skuespilleren føler, og hvor han eller hun vil I historien. Amerikanerne snakker om action is character. Du hva du gjør. Det vil si at summen av de handlingene du foretar deg, forteller seeren hva du vil, hva dine mål Og dette viktig for skuespilleren å forstå, for ikke å konkurrere med kamera, eller konkurrere med de andre fortellervirkemidlene som jobber side om side, som en slags medspillere til filmskuespilleren.
Most of the time, I really do the work right there at the moment when I go there and I can see the light and I can see the actors in the place and I can kind of feel with them the scene come alive for the very first time. I mean, usually a process is one in which I'll get to the set, send everybody away, and I mean everybody. I couldn't do it if there was a dog in the room or a cat in the room. Everybody away. And try very, very hard to get the actors to do nothing. It's almost impossible to get an actor to do nothing. But if you can get them to do nothing, what will happen is that something will start. By the very fact that you take the pressure of performing away, the machine starts to come alive in the actor, and I kind of stage it right there and then and see how I want to shoot it. I will always work on it and know beforehand where I need close-ups, where do I want to shoot this scene in one long take? Do I want it to be cut up? Do I want a lot of staccato shots? Is it lyrical? Is it punctuated rhythmically? You have an idea of what you want to do, but then I usually end up working out a lot of it when it's a dialogue scene, I mean, right there at the moment.
I wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for the Russian tea room.
It's the Russian tea room. Right here. You're standing in front of...
Oh, well, my stars, so it is. Well, this is very embarrassing.
Oh, well, this is it.
Thanks very much.
How are you doing, Mr. Fields?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Please sit down. The way waiter will be here in just a minute.
Thank you.
George, how are you?
Hey, Ronnie. How are you? Wait a minute. Wait.
I'm new in town and I'm awfully lonely. I wondered if you wouldn't mind buying me lunch.
Wait, hold on. You can't come. Gregory, this was.
George. It's
Michael Dorsey, okay? Your favorite client.
How are you?
Last time you got me a job, it was a tomato.
Yeah? Swear to God?
Michael.
Yeah.
God, I begged you to get some therapy.
You see, the most cinematic film can be shot boring, and the most uncinematic story can be very cinematic. The question is, I don't remember who told it, but someone said, there is no boring stories, there are only boring storytellers. So, in that sense, you know, the most important thing is intensity of emotion. That can be in the script and that can be in the interpretation of the script. There are 3 stages when you can kill the film: writing the script, shooting rushes, and editing.
The art of filmmaking is closer to reality, closer to life than any other medium. It borrows. Film borrows, the art of film borrows from the theater, it borrows from music, it borrows from dance, it borrows from all the older art forms, from literature. But it's a unique art form in itself, and it's become the literature of this generation. And it requires the actors, therefore, to get closer and closer to reality and to natural behavior. And that means that they must submerge themselves into the role, I think, in a much deeper way than they would in the theater, where your audience is quite a ways away from you and the camera's not looking at you, where they can see every pore on your face and see every glance of the eye. And so the film actor has to know where the camera is. They have to know, they have to concentrate, they have to keep in mind that the cameraman doesn't want them to run across the room and jump on the bed. You must run across the room in a certain way because the operator must. So there's all kinds of things that the poor actor has to keep in mind. That doesn't happen in the theater.
Meanwhile, you just killed yourself a white man, just about the most important white man we got around here, and picked yourself up $200.
I earned that money 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Colored can't earn that kind of money, boy. Hell, that's more than I make in a month. Now, where did you earn it?
Philadelphia.
Mississippi?
Pennsylvania.
That's just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania, earn that kind of money.
I'm a police officer.
So we're always looking for new ways of telling things. And I think it's a natural to the human being, you know, that JFK is in many ways postmodern because it telescopes time back and forth. It recreates events that might or might not have happened. Hypotheses are visualized. You never quite know where your reality is in the movie, you know, because the event in Dealey Plaza has been reinterpreted. What is history? Who owns history? Who owns reality? These are some of the questions that we tried to ask stylistically in JFK. Mm-hmm. And it was fun. I mean, we felt we were out there on the edge.
But you can make a movie out of almost anything. Depends on who's making the movie. Sometimes the idea is that small, but it's so exquisitely observed and so beautifully played out that you sit there hypnotized, and all you've watched is a dinner. 2 guys eat dinner or something. You can make it a movie. You say, well, that's not a movie. Yeah, it could be a movie.